Hey, you. Welcome back. My name's Jack, the snack that smiles back. You must be here to find out who the a-holes are today. Well, I'll provide the stories, you provide the... everything else, and let's get started. God, it's beautiful, but it's so hot. Just like you. This story by a throwaway. Am I the a-hole for saying I was uncomfortable with the way my girlfriend dresses and acts around her boss? My 27 male girlfriend, 25 female, has been working for company X for about 2 years. Her boss is a guy called Mark, 45 to 50-ish, recently divorced, 2 kids. She is senior to just about everyone else in his business, despite her age, with the exception of his PA. Prior to the event that happened recently, I had no insight to what happened at her work other than she got very made up to go to work every day. Think stilettos, false eyelashes, red lipstick, etc. I had asked her a couple of times why she got so dressed up to work in an office, and well, she said that it was just normal for her workplace, so I left it at that. Recently, Company X has merged with Company Y that I'm working at. I'm a data analyst. And there was a big lunch get-together with almost all the employees from both companies invited, around 50 to 60 people. The dress code was smart casual. I went in suit, pants, and vest, as did my boss and many of the guys at my company. A couple of the girls wore summer dresses, but most wore dark jeans or pants. My girlfriend got very dressed up in an outfit that she previously wore on a date with me to meet my parents, and when I showed surprise, she said that everyone from her company would be wearing similar. They weren't. Most were dressed similarly to me, with the exception of her boss, who was in dad jeans and a tee, and his PA, who was equally dressed up as my girlfriend. At the party, I got no time with my girlfriend as she spent the entire time with her boss and the PA, and he kept introducing them to everyone as his girls, which I and my boss thought was a bit weird. My boss said to him, in front of me and girlfriend, I thought she was my girl, and her boss said, well, you know how it is, work always comes before a relationship. Then he laughed and walked off. The whole time, my girlfriend had one hand on her boss's shoulder or chest and was acting kind of flirty. The whole thing just seemed a bit weird, and when I brought it up after we got home, she blew up at me, accusing me of trying to sabotage her job and being nosy. Now, I'm sleeping on the couch, and I'm a bit paranoid thinking of all the overtime she does, usually at least an extra 15 hours a week, or all the work trips she goes on. Am I the a-hole if I find this weird? Nata, the thing that crosses the line for me is the physical interaction. I fully support her dressing however she feels, but there needs to be a boundary in the workplace with professional connections. In addition, any manager references to my girls or my boys is degrading and possessive. My rating, you are definitely not the a-hole. Her blowing up at you for almost no reason is sometimes a sign for some fishy stuff going on. I'd watch out, to be honest. Yeah, why are you the one having to sleep on the couch for being uncomfortable and feeling rejected at a social gathering? Honestly, dude, you're letting her walk all over you with this behavior. I'm going to reserve my judgment for a moment, but I want to just say this. I had a hard time in the business world when I was younger. I did sales in an industry that was male-dominated. I was routinely groped, harassed, talked down to, etc. The things I put up with and dealt with on a daily basis still make me sick to my stomach. But I needed the job I had. I would go home, sigh, take a long shower, and dream of a better position for myself. I eventually finished school, and now I'm a government scientist with a union protection. If anyone tried to pull that garbage on me today, they would immediately regret it. My point is, you don't know how she feels about her interactions with her boss. It may be that her only power in her position is to be friendly and familiar. I've been there. It really sucks. It doesn't mean she likes it and wants it. It means he likes it and he wants it and he's the boss. Please keep that in mind. Maybe you can begin to open a dialogue between the two of you about her boss affects her and what she really thinks about things. An absolutely valid point. It is possible that she is possibly even competing with the PA in terms of making the boss more likable towards her, and so any future promotions can go her way. But regardless of it being a tactic, it is still damaging him in the relationship. At best, I can agree that they should have this open dialogue, and really, it honestly seems like he already tried this. Nata, Jesus, what a list of red flags. Let's recap. First, she pretty blatantly lied to you when she told you that everyone dresses like that. Then she behaved the way she did, and allowed her boss to behave the way he did, right in front of you, such that other people actually commented on the behavior. Then, when you tried to discuss it, she got extremely defensive and gaslit you with her own accusations. I'm not accusing the woman of cheating, but at the very least, this is very inappropriate boss/subordinate relationship behavior. Trust your gut on this. I would guess something isn't right here. To counter these points, though, firstly, this is just allegedly the one event that he's come to where he's seeing all the other co-workers in terms of what they dress like. Maybe they normally do dress more like her, or at least there's a larger majority who do. Secondly, going off the suggestions of the previous comment, it is likely she was just too afraid to correct the boss's behavior, especially the way he treats her and his PA. It wouldn't be surprised if he wouldn't take the woman talking back to him lightly. Thirdly, well, the third point I think I can agree with, that is suspicious. Info. Does she get dressed up for everything? And 2, how did you bring it up? 1, usually she's a gym clothes or ripped jeans type. 2, I said, hey, can we talk about what happened at the party? And she immediately snapped back, like how you and Alex, my boss, tried to ruin my job. And it escalated from there. Yeah. The fact that she got explosively defensive makes me think, does your girlfriend have boundary issues? At the very best, she's in an unhealthy work environment. Hell, maybe she's just playing this guy. At the worst. Well, that'd be the worst. Not the a-hole. That's weird, man. Stuff's hardly ever weird for no reason. Clearly you haven't met me. Yes, you're the a-hole. If you think she's having an affair, address that directly. If not, please don't make her job harder by reading too much into it. As bold of an accusation it is to make, honestly, it probably is better just to rip off the band-aid and ask her straight up about it like this. And if her first response is to snap at you, to accuse you, to gaslight you, to suddenly raise her voice up and down in various inflections in a desperate attempt to create distraction, then, well, you unfortunately have your answer. This story by Kiyomambia. Am I the a-hole for thinking someone who tells me I am beautiful is acting creepy? So I, 26 female, have a best friend, 24 male, and he also has a male best friend, 24 male, whom I barely know. To make it easier, I will call my best friend T and his best friend N. So T lives in a big city for his studies and video games, and N is living in his apartment temporarily until he finds a home and a job. It has been 1 year, he hasn't found anything. I have been speaking to N for 5 or 6 times, so we don't really know each other, but our conversations have always been friendly and interesting. He is really into esotericism and manga, which is absolutely not my cup of tea, but I totally respect that. So 2 weeks ago, N sent me a message out of nowhere, asking if he could pinch my cheeks because he was having nightmares and it would reassure him. I found it a bit awkward, but why not, since maybe he was not having a second thought. Then some days later he told me, I love you strong. Again, I found it strange as it came out of nowhere at 11 PM. The OP clarifies later on that English is their second language, so when they refer to cheeks in this instance, it may be just a mistranslation. She was referring to more so face cheeks, not butt cheeks. So I don't think he was being too creepy at first, just to clarify. I just said that I appreciated him, and he precised that it was not a love declaration, and he just wanted to show his affection to me. Why not? Some people are a bit too demonstrative. But yesterday he sent me, hey, I think you are beautiful, late at night and out of the blue. This made me realize that 3 times, while I was not asking anything, and he knows I have a boyfriend, he told me very ambiguous things. It was too much, and made me feel uncomfortable. I told him so, and he replied that he excused me for not being open-minded enough, and that society is just too shy. He told me that he didn't think he should have permission to say such positive things. Okay, but those positive things are quite creepy, coming from someone I barely know, and there is plenty of positive things to say to someone, but why those ones in particular? Am I just too shy or close-minded? Because I don't really think so. So now I feel guilty, but also a bit frustrated, as I feel that he is a bit dishonest about his behavior. Nata, he's being creepy, and when you call him on it, he is turning it around and blaming you. You need to stay away from this dude. Nope, you are not too shy or close-minded. This is super creepy behavior, and don't let him make you think it's not. If it's too much, maybe mention something to T and he can have a chat with N. It's definitely not okay for some random person to text you late at night saying, "I love you strong." That's creepy and definitely uncomfortable. Normal people giving compliments go, "Oh, my bad," and back off when it makes the other person uncomfortable or comes off as reciprocated flirting. I guarantee you, he isn't telling his roommates the same compliments or asking for cheek pinches. Also, I love your sense of humor. Wow, you're a great listener. Hey, thanks for the advice you gave me, that was really smart. Some positive things to say. You're beautiful in the middle of the night is freaking creepy, although not as creepy as the cheek part. Don't be afraid to ask for T's help in confronting N about this behavior. There is a lot of rather toxic advice out there for guys, with women who aren't interested means you just need to try harder, and that persistence is key. Oh, well, women are only really attracted to the experiences they have with you, so even if you're super ugly, as long as you give them a good experience and a memory of something really nice and stuff, they'll eventually like you. I mean, it happens to every girls in the shows and movies. They first hate the main character and then they fall in love with him. It's just totally logical. That type of thinking is absolutely wrong, and is usually what causes people like N to exist. And unfortunately, in most cases, it takes a fellow mate to actually point out this toxic behavior. Because unfortunately, there are women out there who do eventually cave into this behavior. Because they genuinely were just shy at first. And there are others who do enjoy a bit of a chase. That thrilling will they won't they tension you build between each other until the stars finally align. It's stupid rom-com fantasy mindset that's causing women to become more abused by men who harass and approach them constantly, and men to completely lack an understanding of what a clear message is. Definitely try and hammer down the fact though that he is being creepy, not that he is a creep in general to you. You still respect him and find him cool as a human being, it's just his actions are the problem.
Hello, I'm a teapot, and I think you should subscribe or like the video, because you clearly are enjoying it if you've gotten this far in and are starting to see teapots talk. Honestly, I think you need to see a doctor about this, but before you do that, like and subscribe. Cheerio.
This story by Beauty Guru. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to lie and scam my followers for a quick buck? I, 17 female, have a pretty large social media following. I do a lot of stuff, but I mostly promote skincare and beauty products. Since I'm not 18, my mum helps me manage my promotions and the companies I work with. There is a popular company that I work with quite often, K, where they send me new products and I review and promote them. Until recently, I've never had a negative experience with any of the products they've sent me, but I'm technically not allowed to say anything bad about them because they pay me. I also try the products out myself before promoting them, so I know I'm promoting something I actually like and use. A few weeks ago, I was sent a new face mask by Kay to review and promote, and I honestly kinda hated it. I used it for 2 weeks, and every time I applied it, it burned and stung my face. Overall, it just isn't a great product, and I don't want to promote it. My mum is ticked off that I wouldn't promote it because she said we when it's definitely I, but okay, lost money. I tried to explain that I don't want to tell my followers to buy something that I don't like because it feels like lying, but she wouldn't understand. She said that it wasn't a big deal, and people lie all the time. She told me that Kay could break their contract with me because of it, and I was being reckless and stupid with the opportunities I've been given. I'm aware that a lot of people in the beauty world aren't 100% truthful with what they promote, and I don't like it. I told her that she was being money hungry and was trying to scam my followers, and that, well, if she wanted to promote anyone who paid her, she could create her own channel. I personally want to actually like and use the things I'm telling my followers to spend their money on, you know? But my mum is right that Kay could stop sending me stuff if I don't promote it, and I'd lose a lot of money, and I've heard other people like the face masks, so maybe it's just me? Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Thank you for being a genuine good person and not a greedy dirtbag. Your mum shouldn't be pressuring you to lie, hands down. I know I'd trust a recommendation a lot more if I was also sure they weren't shilling just everything thrown their way. I'd just let the company know your experience with it directly, and not mention it on your feed. What a great mother. It's one thing to at least acknowledge that there is deceit in the world, and people do it sometimes, but it's another thing to actually encourage your child to do it. Verminius Rex makes a great offer point though. Integrity is vital when doing reviews, and I applaud your ethics. There are workarounds that aren't unethical though. My wife used to review products online. If she didn't have time, or the product wasn't appropriate for a man, not something she'd used, etc., she'd had me use it and give feedback so she could say, I had my husband use this product and here are his thoughts. So having a friend who isn't experiencing the same skin reaction, and I wonder if it isn't an allergic reaction of some sort, use the product and reviewing it through them wouldn't be unethical. This honestly seems like the best approach for her. This way she still gets to have her contract with K, and maybe get the mum off her back. Regardless, what this company is buying off you is your integrity as a reviewer and promoter. For them to try and push this onto you like your mother is would just be destroying their possible investment. After all, the more honest and genuine you come across with your reviews, the better return they're gonna get by you promoting their products. Don't listen to your mum. Your mum's just backwards thinking with this. Nata all the way. This story by Too Much Zuck. Am I the a-hole for knowing my mother's plans to ruin my father's life but saying nothing to him? A bit of a long one, and I'm on mobile, so apologize for any typos. My parents have been fighting for the past 10 years of my life, but this last year has been especially toxic, with constant fighting that is getting closer and closer to becoming physical, but never quite goes there. My mother can be manipulative with just a hint of narcissism. My dad can be stubborn and quick-tempered. You can see how these two don't exactly mix. It's a miracle they've been married for almost 30 years. A bit of background, I am one of 3 children, and really the only one that is close to my father. My older brother is a college dropout and is in between jobs right now. In my opinion, he has a great heart. He just needs a little more time to land on his feet. Little brother is too small to worry about any of these problems, but he does get anxiety and really bad nightmares when people yell. My mother just recently opened up a restaurant that has been doing pretty well, but it is within the same building as my father's bar, so there's been a lot of conflict. About an hour ago, Big Brother told me the plan he's been working on with my mum. They are planning on gutting out everything from the family restaurant, cabinets, fridges, kitchen supplies, everything while my father is sleeping at home. My mum is also planning on taking the liquor licenses from my father's bar because they are technically in her name as well as keeping most of the check they got from the mortgage. Basically, they plan to remove his bar, his place of business, behind their back. Needless to say, this would devastate him. The buildings themselves are in my father's name, and he will have to be losing out on double rent for the month with likely no income as he can't sell any liquor without a license and it takes a while to get one. He has a fair amount of money in his bank to sustain him for a few months, but not much beyond that. On top of that, he would also be losing his family. I have always been closer to my father as I don't get into trouble, and I'm currently putting myself through college. My father grew up in a really rough town and lost his dad when he was only a kid. He dropped out of school in 5th grade and has been working non-stop pretty much ever since. So I can see why he would have conflict with somebody like my big brother or mum and always be on edge. He has provided for me ever since I was born in what I believe to be the only way he really knew how. I don't want to go no contact with him, but I am planning on moving with my mother. I'm in conflict with myself because I'm fully aware of where we're going, what we're doing, and when it's going to happen. I also know how terrible it will be for him, and I don't think he deserves it, but I don't want to do anything that would potentially put my mother at risk. So, Reddit, let me hear it. Am I the a-hole for knowing my mother's plans to destroy my father's life but doing nothing about it? Edit to clarify by what I mean at risk. As I said, it's never been physical, but it has gotten really, really close. I feel like in several cases, had me or Big Brother not been there, it definitely would have been, with 100% of the physical aggression coming from his side. So when I say at risk, I feel like this is something that, if I were to tell him, it would set him off so much that I don't know what he would do. It's entirely possible that he would try to ruin my mother's life in retaliation for her trying to do it to him. So extreme soap opera levels of drama going on in this family. You're the a-hole, but she is more so. She's literally going to ruin his life. At least tell him so he can get the jump on her. That's not right, and unless he did something downright awful, he doesn't deserve that. Why do you keep talking about putting your mother at risk? From what you've described, both of your parents seem to be equally bad people, and you also explicitly said there's never been any physical violence from either of them. If your mother becomes at risk due to her actions, it seems like that's nobody's fault but hers. You don't get to actively carry out a plot to destroy someone else's life and then claim, "Oh, woe is me! I'm afraid of what will happen after I carry out my shockingly evil plan." I do think you would be the a-hole if you didn't tell your father about these overt plans to destroy his life and well-being. If they are bad for each other, which does seem to be the case, then they need to go to divorce and leave each other's lives. Playing these destructive games serves no one, and I don't think you would allow such an evil plan to proceed now that you know about it. I say everyone sucks here, but you need to warn him. If he gets blindsided by this, his entire future and retirement could go into the toilet. If he gets physical with his wife, that's on him, and you need to call the police. But don't let him get destroyed because you're scared of what he might do. I would suggest, however, telling him somewhere where he has a chance to cool down, and can't get physically near her in the height of rage and betrayal. Maybe divert him with other tasks, like visiting a lawyer's office with you to see what his options are next, etc. Yeah, seems the only justification Opie has for not telling the father is because of assuming that the father is going to do something terrible. You're painting him as guilty as charged when he hasn't even done anything yet. Of course, it is absolutely fair to be suspicious considering they're spouts together. But I just don't get why you're being so defensive towards your mother who, unless he gets physical, is being equally as abusive and damaging to everyone in this relationship.
That does us for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're looking at my face right now, that means you liked this video. So all I appreciate is if you would like the video back. Because if you like it, then I'll like you for liking the video, and then I can make more stuff for you to like that you can like, and it'll be just a constant cycle of never-ending pain and suffering. So don't do it alone. Suffer with me. I don't know where I was going with that. If you haven't subscribed but you want to see some more content, then please, what are you waiting for? Click that notification bell so you're always updated on the latest content. And hey, why not check out some other videos while you're here? But anyway, that does me for today. Thank you again for watching. You're an amazing person. I love rambling at you, and I look forward to you staring at me beyond the abyss again soon. I can't close well. Don't at me, okay? My name's been Jack. Bye-bye. You're amazing. See ya.